Griddle Master. Cooking up the good stuff.
Hey, Griddle Master Joe here. We are in my kitchen for this part of the presentation. We are going to do some garlic bread and some onion bread. We are going to film a couple of different meals today, and this is the in the kitchen work that I'm doing. So what I decided to do, instead of making my own bread, you can go to the store and you can buy some pizza dough. So we have the pizza dough. We got it from our local grocery store, and I am going to trash my counter. And I have a little bit of flour, because if we don't use some flour, it will stick. But in the meantime, I am going to take a stick of butter, and I have some fresh chopped garlic, and I'm going to put a lot in there, probably 2 tablespoons, and I am going to microwave it. This pizza crust that you buy in the store is, let me see, I don't even know how much it was. Wow, it's actually $3. I know that I've seen it. It was $2.99. I've seen it low as $1 some of the times. So anyway, I'm gonna put it on a cutting board, and I'm gonna get a knife. I guess, yeah, good enough. You know what? I could even do the pizza cutter. Now, this is how Papa John's. All they do is take their pizza dough and cut it like this and put it in the oven. But what I want to do is just a little bit different. So we have these strips, and all we want is strips are, in this case I'm just going to go in half. All I want is about a 3-inch strip for each one, because we're going to stretch this out just a little bit more. I'm not going to cut them all right now, I just want to make sure. So I heard this is done. It's all melted. All it is butter and garlic, and I want that garlic to permeate all through the butter. So I'm making 2 different kinds today. They're all going to be garlic rolls, and I'm going to tie them in knots. But we're going to do some with garlic and butter, and some we're going to do butter and onion, because we're going to be doing a steak, a very nice steak meal. And I want, like, if you've ever eaten at Morton's comes out with a nice bread that has onion on it. Really, really good, really tasty. And I'm not saying there's going to be anything like it because we're doing rolls, but they're going to be garlic rolls. So I even have 2 trays like this, because we're going to be cooking them separate out on the griddle top for each meal. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of olive oil in each one. Okay, so we're just going to spread this around. And make sure you get the edges, because it's going to rise. These are cute little trays. This is like perfect. Unless you have a big family and then you got to do a whole bunch. Then you do the big tray. So all we're going to do here with this is, now we don't want so much flour, so I'm off on the side. You just roll it. Okay? So it's about that length. Now, what I want to do, so I got to decide which one am I going to do first. I have a little glass tray, and I have some diced up onions, really fine minced actually. I'm going to put that in there. And this, like I told you, is just butter. So I'm just going to dip a little bit of it, so that way it grabs on both sides. Dip it in with the onion, and you roll it around your finger, go all the way around, and then have it pop up in the middle like a little belly button. And then we're just going to set it in there. And it's going to get harder to do because of the butter on my hands. So we don't need a lot of butter on it. So I could just dip my finger in and just get some onion on the bread, on the dough, go around and lift up, and done. These are going to rise. So you see how long I can go and get it? And I'm doing this in the onion like this because I could always do it just after I make it. But I think having the onion infused all throughout the bread through the roll is going to add a good flavor to it. And again, see how long it's getting. So it's up to you to cut these whatever size you would like and make them. As you can see, I have different sizes there right now, but if I were to cut this better and more consistent, we could make these all the same size, which isn't that hard to do. So can you see how the onion is all throughout? And then so I'm going to go slow around, then come up underneath, push it through just a little, and then just set it on. It's a lot easier just doing it, but when you have to demo it, it adds a few more steps. Now, I learned this back when I was probably 17 and 18 years old. Before I went into the military, I cooked. I was at a Italian restaurant, and so I worked. Actually, I was out being a busboy initially, and then they asked me to come work in the kitchen. So they had me go as pizza man, and so we had to do this like, oh my goodness, I don't know how many, because it was so long ago. I don't know how many we had to do every day, and we did the bread like this, and the rolls, and we also did sticks, which are pretty good in its own for itself. Now, what we didn't do, what I'm doing here, this is just something that I think will be good. I haven't done this before. You know, I'm always trying stuff with you all. And so what we would do is just roll these out, make them, and then we just flip, you know, brush on some olive oil or butter on top, and then let them rise. Okay, so here's what I did. I did a few, and then I also did a couple little mini like garlic sticks. So just so we could see and we could talk about how they turned out. That way when you go to do it, you can decide based on this video how you want to have them for your meal. And the other thing you could do is what I'll do for the garlic bread is I will do a whole one here. just so we could see how fat it is and how it turns out. And then I'll do some of the garlic knots as garlic bread bigger. So that way, because the cook time, you really need to have them pretty consistent in thickness of everything so that it will cook. Otherwise you'll have some that will be overcooked and some undercooked. So we want to make them all consistent in size. So I'm going to rinse my hands off. I'll be back and we'll do the garlic bread ones. Alright, so I'm back and I have the garlic and butter. I'm going to dump into here a lot. As you can tell, I have much more than I need, but we're going to be able to use this for on top of the garlic bread. So I told you, we already have the top with olive oil, and then I'm also going to roll this whole thing in butter and just set it in the tray like that. That's it. So if I wanted to, I could put these 4 in there. It would probably be pretty awesome. But I am going to do 2 of them. That way at least we can see them side by each. As they rise, you know they're going to rise together. I think those are going to be really, really good. And so for this, excuse me. Okay, so here we're going to roll these out pretty good. See, when you use butter, it wants to slide. It's not, when we made them back in the 80s, obviously you don't put any butter on them and they stick right away as soon as you bend them over, bend them around, bend them over. So here, with the butter on there, it just makes it want to slide all over. But that's okay. It'll work. And it'll probably be incredible tasting with this garlic butter. The amount of garlic that I have in here and how it's going to make the actual roll taste is going to be amazing. So you can roll it out as long as you want. So what we're going to want to do, we're going to finish this up, and then we're going to cover it with I guess some saran wrap. Just keep the air off of it, and we're going to put it over there under the, or on top of the stove, and let it rise for an hour or so. Okay, so I didn't want to go get the saran wrap. I'm just using this press and seal. And we're just going to cover it up to keep the air off of it. And we're going to put it under the, just right here on the stove. And we're going to let it rest there for about an hour or more, but you don't want it too long. Because it can rise and then fall if you don't cook it with the right time frame. Cute, huh? Alright, so you'll see these in a video very shortly.